Welcome back. In the last video, we took a look at how to read values out of the text boxes. What we're going to do is we're going to do another example of that where we read the value of the number of hot dogs the person wants to buy out of text hot dogs. We're going to read the number of drinks they want to buy out of text drinks. And when they hit the cost button, we're going to calculate inside a text cost how much the total bill will be. But the new thing we're going to introduce this time is decimal numbers. So far we've been working just with integers. What happens when you have a decimal that you want to work with, right? Like the hot dogs might be $2.50. The drinks might be $1.25. Let's see what happens when we do this. First, let's go to the source and let's make some variables that are going to be useful for this little task. So one thing I'm going to need to know is I will need to know an integer. And an integer is going to be how many hot dogs they want to buy. I'm just going to set that at 0 for now. Okay. I'm also going to want to know how many drinks they want to purchase. So I'm going to set that at 0. Now, one variable I know I'm going to be calculating is going to end up being the total cost of the purchase. Now, this cost, because I'm going to be using decimal numbers in the prices, has to store a decimal number. And for a decimal number, the variable type is not an int. The variable type is called a double. Now, they should have called it decimal because that would have made a lot more sense to a beginner. But the idea behind the double is that when you do go to store a decimal number, like 123.456, is you have a number and then you have more numbers after the dot. And the idea is it takes double the space in memory because you have double the numbers sometimes. So that's why they call it a double. Okay. So knowing that it's a double, and a double can now hold decimal numbers, you're ready to go. So let's look at how we can use these variables and our little calculations when the button's clicked. So in design view, when I go find cost, let's jump down there. And let's do what we have to do. First thing, read the values the user typed. So, hot dogs, set yourself equal to integer, parse int, text, hot dogs dot get text, and I already see a problem here. Oh, no red lines, that's good. Drinks equals integer, parse int, text drinks dot get text. Now, no red lines means I've spelt everything correctly. That's good. Okay, now that I have the values they've typed in, let's calculate the total cost. Now, some people do this differently. Some people find the cost of the hot dogs, then they find the cost of the drinks, then they add them together. We can do this all in one line, right? So let's do this. Hey, cost, set yourself equal to hot dogs times. I'm going to say the hot dogs are $2.50 because I'm trying to force the idea here that we're using decimals. And you got to take your number of drinks times $1.50. And now we got to show it. Text cost, set text, total cost. I can even sneak a dollar sign in there. Cost. Now, one warning, when we do this, it should work, right? No problem. Reading from the boxes, do a calculation, show the value in the boxes. Let's see what happens. So let's get 3 hot dogs, 3 drinks, easy to do in your head. Total cost is $12. I think it works. Let's do 2 hot dogs, $9.50. Notice it doesn't do the 0 on the end. Don't even concern yourself with that at this point. Just be happy that the value itself is correct. I don't want to take the time now to fiddle with how to actually write it out properly. It's working. It's working. Okay? And you can see it works even with your zeros in there. Okay, so that's doubles. Doubles store decimals. A lot of students ask me, well, why not just make everything a double? Then you don't have to worry. Technically, that's sloppy programming. If you only need it to store an integer, make it an integer. If you need it to store a decimal, make it a double. Now I should actually do one thing here just to show you in case you wanted to order 2.5 hot dogs, which would be weird, a little correction you'd have to add here. If you did want 2.5 hot dogs, you would have to make hot dogs a double because now you're going to be storing a decimal number. The other change you would have to make, which I just want to sneak in here, is this line right here won't work right. Since you're trying to read a double, a decimal out of the box, you don't put integer, you actually put capital D double, and you say parse double. So it's very similar, right? Instead of integer parse int, you go double dot parse double. That's how you read the decimals out of the box. We're not going to be doing a lot of reading decimals out of the box, so it doesn't matter too much, but just in case you write a program and you need to know how to do it, officially it's there and we've shown you how. And just to show you it actually works, let's buy our 1.35 hot dogs and our 2 drinks, and it still calculates the cost out perfectly. Nice. We'll see the next video where we're going to start talking about some other good stuff.